Hello, friends, and welcome to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. And our first story, confusion at the swimming baths. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. So my local sports center is upgrading to an electronic system. Doors have locks on that you can open with a fob, the kind you might attach to your keys. So once you've checked in, paid, either at the desk or on the new quick-serve machines in the main entrance, the doors to various areas will open for you provided you're eligible for entry. It's the early days of this new system, and some people aren't used to it. Change is scary. The gym and spa suite and the swimming pool are in separate areas, and both have their own changing rooms. However, there is a door and long corridor that links the two, so that if you want to go to the gym, then for a swim, or go for a swim and then to the spa suite, sauna, etc., or some combination thereof, you can use this door to pass back and forth. I work out 5 days a week, and I'm very familiar with the new system already. I've seen plenty of people caught out, not able to get past a door to an area, and explained it to them. Such was the scene I came upon when, after my workout and on my way for a swim, I came across this woman in her bathing suit trying to get through the door unsuccessfully. She was hesitant to go back into the gym in her bathing suit to ask for assistance, and her other option, the doors next to her, would open to the main entrance, and I doubt she wanted to walk through the cafe in her bathing suit, even less than through the gym. I saw her distress and explained to her that the door was now on a sensor and that in the future she just needed to bring her membership key fob with her to get through. But I let her through with mine as we were both going that way. She was grateful, and I thought nothing more of it, at least until our next interaction. After a quick chat with some of the lifeguards who I know, I jumped in and started doing my lengths. Then the lady from my earlier encounter got into the same lane as me. It was a bit of a nuisance because it was the mid-speed lane and she was going too slow for it, so I had to overtake her every 2 to 3 lengths, which often meant slowing down until an overtaking opportunity presented itself. At one point, she stopped at an end, and I saw her pointing at me and speaking to the lifeguards. But the lifeguard just shrugged and said something to her that she obviously didn't like, because for the remainder of the swim, she had a face like she was chewing wasps. Eventually, I finished my swim and stopped to rest for a moment to catch my breath before getting out of the pool. She'd been stopped for several minutes by this point, just taking up space at the end of the lane, an obstacle for the rest of us to swim around. Once I stopped, she said, "Oh good, you can help me. I need you to move this so that I can get out," and she pointed to the line of floats that separate the different swimming lanes. It's a long steel wire that runs the length of the pool and is covered with plastic-colored floats. I told her I couldn't do that because A, it's not my place to do so, and B, it was very securely and tightly fastened to the wall. It was not some simple hook or latch system. She insisted that I help her because she couldn't get her hair wet, as she had an important appointment, which she didn't elaborate on, nor why that was suddenly my problem. This strange standoff and insistence that I help her went on for another few minutes, and after the second time of it circling around to the same words coming from her, I decided not to participate in the circle a third time and simply dove under the barrier, swam to the stairs, climbed out, and left her to her own conundrum. I went back to the gym, to the changing rooms, got changed, and headed up to leave, and there she was, complaining to some very high-profile people. The sport facility manager, who you never see, I only know who he is from the few times I've booked the main hall to organize a martial arts event. I'm a coach. And standing next to him were 2 local politicians, one who was the representative for the area the sports center was in, and the other was on the board for sports and recreation. They were obviously there on some official business, and she had spied them and gone to give them a piece of her mind. I could hear her as I walked towards the main doors. She was having a go about some rude employees, and I chuckled to myself thinking some poor sod was going to get it in the neck by causing her to have a reason to complain just when these 2 high-ranking officials were in, and the sport facility manager is looking completely flummoxed, and tells her that he has no one working by that description. Frustrated, she looks around the room, spots me, and goes, "Him!" pointing directly at me. I look at the 3 men, they look at me, then we all look at her. She has a really smug, almost triumphant grin on her face when the sports facility manager said to her, "He doesn't work here." Now, I know in a lot of these I Don't Work Here Lady stories, the Karens of this world rarely accept at face value the first, second, or even 50th time they're told someone doesn't work there. But she didn't fight it at all. She just looked really puzzled. And then after a few moments in confused thought, she said, "But he has a card to get through the doors." That's when the facility manager had to explain to her the new system, that everyone who has a membership card is able to get through the doors. When I went in today, one of the staff told me it couldn't have happened at a more opportune time because the new system had been the idea of the politicians, and they were annoyed that the rollout hadn't gone smoothly and that people were still queuing up and paying cash on a pay-as-you-go style rather than paying for a month in advance and using the electronic system. As such, they hadn't gotten accurate or favorable data back from the system. And they had complained to the manager who had them come down and was trying to explain to them that people found the new system difficult to understand or intimidating or were just being slow to adapt the change. Our misunderstanding underlined his own point so beautifully it couldn't have gone better had he orchestrated it himself. And for them to be standing there next to him when it all went down, I bet he'll be telling that story for years to come. Sweet, sweet karma. And our second story. I do work here, but not like that. So I've been working at this bar/restaurant for almost a year. It's the most popular restaurant in town, and we get a lot of regulars. So basically, I started as a server/cocktail waitress and worked that job for more than half the time I've been working here. Eventually, due to rude customers, crappy tips, and creepy dudes, I decided that I wanted to learn to cook and work in the kitchen. So I switched to the back. I'm killing it. I'm a fast learner, and I love it. About 2 weeks after I start working in the kitchen, I'm having a normal day, and I take my lunch break. As I walk outside to sit on the patio, there's a table of regulars I used to serve often. They were always extremely rude, never tipped at all, and even gave me crap like, "Oh, I didn't want this with sour cream," even though they had never specified what they did or didn't want on their food. You get the idea. A-holes. Anyway, I walk out there on break, and of course I'm dressed like an employee. My clothes are greasy and covered in food bits, my earphones are in, and I have a huge bowl of food in hand. They all stop talking and watch me sit down. They're playing crappy music off their phones and start talking loudly, so I put both my headphones in and calmly eat my food while occasionally scrolling through the phone. They keep looking at me angrily, but I didn't understand why, so I ignored them. Anyway, I finish my food and get up to go back to clock in. And as I start walking away, I hear shouting through my headphones. I turned around, pulled out my headphones, and one of these ladies started screaming at me, "Miss, we've been trying to get your attention for 10 minutes. No one has been out here to check on us. Another round." I just looked at her. She gave me a mocking look like she was trying to mimic the surprise on my face, and she waved around her empty Bud Light bottle. "Hello," says her jerkhead man. I continued to stare for a moment before saying, "Oh, sorry guys, that doesn't sound like something I can help you with." They all looked PO'd and totally shocked, and she continued, "What is your name? I'm going to have to talk to insert boss's name here. This service is horrible. I'm trying to keep it together, but this is far from how this woman treated me in the past." However, I politely responded, "My name is insert my name here, and please do," she said. "I will, and I can't believe this. Are you trying to lose your job?" At this point, I was over it, so I responded with, "No, ma'am, I'm not, which is why I'm trying to clock back in." She starts turning visibly red upon hearing this, and I continue, "I'm sure if you get up and go inside, they'll be more than happy to put in your order at the bar." I didn't get to see her reaction as my nervous, passive self immediately put my headphones back in and retreated inside. But damn, it felt amazing. If you get terrible service all the time, it's probably because you're a terrible customer. And our third story. You've been my best employee. Too bad you don't work here. This story happened a few years ago, and now that I've found this sub, I have a relevant place to share it. I'd like to preface this by saying I drank heavily in my mid-20s. This event took place at a local liquor store when I was home on leave from the military. It was my first birthday home in years, so I was planning on having a great night with my old high school friends. The old gang was back together, which called for celebratory endeavors. I was perusing the items in the store when I noticed an unused crate. I asked the security guy if I could borrow it while I was shopping. Strange look, but ultimately he says yes. I had at least 6 different bottles in the crate. I was looking for something else that was requested when a lady, probably in her late 40s, comes up to me. Lady, excuse me, I was looking for name of gin. Do you have it here? Me, what? Oh, I don't actually work here. I just drink a lot. What were you looking for? They don't have that brand here, if I may make a suggestion. Conveniently, the tonic was on the wall next to us. I handed her a bottle and showed her where the gin was. She thanked me and went on. Since I still had the crate in hand, and I'd just helped another customer, obviously I work here. Can't be mad at that misconception. Someone else came up to me and asked a random question about the absinthe that the store has. I get into a conversation about absinthe, what it is actually, why it's illegal in some places, and if it makes you hallucinate or not. The entire time, people are coming up asking me questions on where to find this, suggestions on what kind of wine they should get, drink suggestions. Yes, I had a bartender app on my phone, etc. The last thing was someone came up to me asking about good rum drinks. My personal favorite, for those who care, Captain Morgan's with Malibu rum and grenadine on the rocks. I call it a shipwreck. Apparently, that guy was friends with the owner, and then he told the owner about the awesome service he got from the new employee. Then this conversation took place with the owner. Owner, so you're the one everyone's been talking about. Me, what do you mean? Owner, everyone's been saying what a good employee I have working here and how helpful he's been. I didn't know how to respond because I'm the only one working today. Me, still holding the crate. Well, as you can see, I have some experience in this field. Owner, I can see that. Too bad you don't actually work here. You've been an excellent help. So the whole time, the security guy was laughing every time a customer would come up to me for assistance. At final checkout, I got a 10% military discount and a 15% employee discount. I realize my story's drama-free and a happy exchange, far, far different from most of the stories here. I like that story. All the customers were nice, you were nice, all was right with the world that day. Cheers! And thank you all for watching the video to the end. I'll see you in the next one.